Good. All right. All right. Do we have anyone in the queue, Jim?
I believe we have to take another short break before there'll be anybody in the queue.
Is that the truth? Okay.
Yes.
Good time for a song.
It's a good time for a little Men at Work, since we're trapped in the 80s this evening. You're listening to Planet Green Trees.
Don't let
Lean forward slightly. Look straight at the speaker and listen with a sparkle in your eye, as though you might be thinking, gee, this is the most wonderful thing I ever heard in all my life.
Alrighty, we're back. Should we put on speaker? Just rock it like this, right?
Alan.
Can we hear it that way?
Yeah, whatever.
Can you hear it better?
Just roll.
All right, very good. So how's our Q over there? Q?
We have Mary Chartier
fantastic.
and Barton Morris.
Well, it worked out then. Fantastic. Let me introduce. We've got Mary Chartier, of course, and Barton are both on the Marijuana Law Section's Council. Mary is... both of them practice criminal defense and other things and have specialized in medical marijuana cases and are involved with all things for justice, I would say. And they both have very long, elaborate bios, and I'd rather spend time picking their brains about this very interesting topic. So please, before we start doing that, please welcome Mary Chartier. Welcome, Mary.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
And Barton Morris. Barton, are you there? And welcome.
Hey, Mike. Hi, Mary.
All right.
Hey, Barton.
So we're gathered here today to try to figure out if maybe it's not that complicated, maybe, but the announcement of our Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, dated January 4th, where he proclaimed that in the Controlled Substances Act, Congress has generally prohibited all of this behavior that the state of Michigan has just legislated in the last year, spent time recently putting together rules and regulations, and is in the process of receiving and has taken money to start issuing state licenses for behavior that would no longer be protected under or believed to be protected under the old or the previous policies and memorandums of law from the Attorney General's office. So we're here to talk about that and what impact it has. First of all, what are your thoughts on it, just generally, before we get into the details and the impact on it? First, Mary, what are you thinking? What did you think first when you heard this?
Well, I wasn't really surprised, unfortunately, just because of what Jeff Sessions has said his position is before. I think that while this definitely is causing some turmoil and probably some business owners and future business owners to be hesitant and maybe frightened about what's going to happen, I don't think this is going to turn back the tide on Canna businesses at all. I think that this is a lot of posturing by the administration, but I don't think that they can change the future. And I think the future means legalization in Michigan as well as other states around the country.
All right, I like that. It's very positive. I think no one would not want that to be the case. Bart, do you agree with that? Do you think that's the direction it's going? Or is this just a smoke signal, we could say, tossed by Jeff Sessions? What do you think?
I think that, Mary's exactly right. But I also think that Sessions is trying to capitalize on this period of time where there's all of this talk about marijuana, especially with California coming online in the last few days of recreational marijuana. And with the Rohrabacher-Blumenauer amendment that is in the Congress's spending bill that they're about to decide on, he figures right now is his opportunity to try to have some influence over Congress and getting his ability to be able to appropriate some funds and allow his United States attorneys to perhaps try and attack some agendas or policies with respect to regulated marijuana. And I really think it's going to backfire on him. Surprisingly, he just doesn't understand that a majority of Americans, including a majority of Republican Americans, people that voted for Trump and Trump himself, believe that marijuana is something that should be regulated by the states and support medical marijuana and adult use marijuana. It's not, and then you can see. Have you seen all of the comments by Congress, by congressional members that are coming out saying, "Are you crazy? This is what our state wants to do, and you're not going to interfere with it, and we're going to fight you all the way." It's like the amount of support that has been generated, it's galvanized the industry, and it's going to backfire on them. I think this is actually going to be the start of perhaps a descheduling of marijuana completely.
You're suggesting that because it's such an outrageous thing to do, that it's going to require the legislature to act in some way to undo it, because the lack of that clarity is what's allowing it to move forward. That's an interesting point. I've heard people discussing that as well. That's good to hear. I was not following the reaction. I know do we all agree? Let me ask, do we agree that if, as things stand right now, this does not have any authority to change the way we know the world right now? In other words, until such time as the Blumenthal Rohrabacher has not been renewed, that this is just a existential threat?
Yeah, for the next week and a half.
Okay, well, we don't know that that's going to happen because the Congress. No, do we? In other words, if it is renewed, then this remains meaningless until the next time, right?
Of course, it does.
Okay, so but do we all agree that this is just? It's a three branch of government kind of battle in a way, and that's why it logically would seem to be, well, if you're just going to defund it and complicate this, you might as well do something about it, right? What is that they're going to do? Is it to make a legalization? Is it to deschedule it or reschedule?